Hi there. This is the introduction to Module 12 of the Popular Music course, Music 1800. And I hope everything's going really well for you. I hope everyone has started thinking about the final exam because it's on the way, and I wanted to say a few words about that. Your final exam is in two parts, and it's not exactly what's described in the course packet. I haven't quite updated the course packet for that yet. So what you're going to get is two sections. One is an essay, and you're going to be randomly assigned one of the essay topics that it gives on the final exam review. That's part one, and that's half the grade for the final exam. The other half of the grade comes from what I call listening analysis. Now, with technology, it would be easy enough for me to give you a song and for you to be able to figure out what that song is. So I've had to change up the format a little bit for the online version of the class. You're going to be given a song to listen to, and I'm going to tell you what that song is and what year it comes from, and I'm going to give you specific questions about that. You're going to have 4 songs like that for part 2 of that. And those 4 songs, those 4 analyses that you're going to do for me are also 50% of your exam grade. So that's the final exam. Be prepared for it. Start listening to going back to some of the styles we've covered in earlier decades, and review yourself, quiz yourself, play something kind of randomly, and be thinking about, okay, this is how, even if you already know what the style is, right? This is what that means in the listening analysis, the style sheets sections, these guys, right, in the course packet. Try to find those as much as you can and go back and hear some of this stuff. The textbook has great examples for that, or if there's an artist that you want to sort of investigate more of, this is a great way to do that. So that's the final exam. That's coming up not too long. Be ready for that. Be ready to go with that and roll with it. The deadlines at the end there have to be pretty rigid because I'm not allowing myself all that much time between your last deadline and my deadline for getting grades turned in later on in the week, that week, the final exam week. So that's the first thing. Module 12. Again, we're going to look at the other side of popular music in the 1970s, the peripheral kinds of styles. And they're interesting because so many of the styles on the periphery in the 1970s, salsa, new wave, punk, funk, and eventually hip-hop, become so huge in the 1980s and beyond. New wave, for example, basically becomes the sound of 1980s pop music going forward. And of course, we all know that hip-hop over the last 30, 40 years has just become huge in the United States, has taken its place as the major, most popular mainstream style. And that era is actually fading away now. We can talk about that, and we'll see that as we move forward. So we get to see the development of hip-hop from its very origins. And because all of this sort of took place in a time when it was easy for people to record, it was easy for people to have access to music, relatively speaking, we see the origins of hip-hop much more closely than we do some of the earlier styles that we've discussed, particularly jazz. If you remember, the cornetist Buddy Bolden, who is attributed to be the first jazz musician, never made a record. So we don't know what jazz sounded like in its very early days in New Orleans. But we have recordings of Grandmaster Flash and people like him making hip-hop, doing hip-hop from 1978, 1979, when the idea of hip-hop was brand new and when it was this little style in a niche that was really unknown outside of a 10-block radius in the South Bronx in New York. And we'll see how that style just grows and comes along. The other big idea that gets going in the 1970s that I want to talk about here that becomes more important in the 1980s is the music video. And so we're going to take a look at the format of that. Now, for our purposes, a music video is a song-length movie that has the complete performance of the song with images of some kind. And we'll look at what those can be like. We're going to take a good look at music videos and what they mean and what they're about and what's going on with that. Now, the 1970s and 1980s are not the first time that bands are doing this, but it's the first time that these short movies, these short song-length films, become an integral part of the music business and the music industry. To have a hit song in the 1980s, you really have to have a great video. And MTV starts to become a driving force. And that all gets going during the 1970s as well. There's a video in this about how to watch a music video and what to look for. So make sure you look at that as well. As always, if there are any questions, don't hesitate to be in touch. We'll talk soon, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.